This podcast has been brought to you by Voyager's World. We are building the most amazing hospitality network. Please visit our website, join us for free, and start participating.
Mark, how do you say your last name? Hastenteufel?
Hastenteufel.
Hastenteufel. It's the Hastenteufel. Good. All right.
Not too bad.
I don't like to butcher people's name too much. That's why I always ask. So how do you say it?
Yeah, but that's not easy to pronounce one.
Thank you for the good coffee.
You're welcome.
So we are in Stuttgart, and is that how you say it? By the way,
Stuttgart. Yeah.
For some reason, in my memory, I was confusing this place with being part of a church, but it is not, right? So it was more of a confusion. There is some connection to it, but please explain where we are.
We are at Waldheim Altenberg, which is it's owned by I think 3 different churches even. So it's a Protestant place, but it's not a church. They built it as a summer camp, and we have this own in Stuttgart. It's called Waldheim, which means like forest home or whatever. But this one is the only one in Stuttgart. As you can see, there is no forest around. There is forest up here, and the other ones are actually in the forest. So in the summer holiday, the children will come and have breakfast and lunch and dinner, and people play with them the whole day. So it's kind of a summer vacation house, and the rest of the year it's seminars. Or everybody can rent it and have the seminar. Or tomorrow, for example, there's one church is coming and they have their little church event here, so it's 150 people or whatever.
Yeah. When I came here yesterday, it was full of kids, and there were the mothers over there, or mothers or whatever. They were ladies taking care of the kids and all that. And one of them very nicely came to talk to me. She saw the license plate of the motorcycle, I guess, and she came to talk to me in English. And she asked, can I help you with something, or are you here just looking? And I was thinking, what kind of creepy thing would be to come to look at a bunch of kids playing, right?
Yeah.
That would be such a creepy stuff to do. But she was very helpful and told me, if you knock there, someone will, because I couldn't call you.
Yeah.
But she showed me the way to end up finding you. So this place is gorgeous. I was here the first time in 2012 or 11, I don't remember now. 12, probably 2012, and it was very cool. I went to there is what's the name of that place? It's like a bar on top of this park.
Over there, it's Karlsruhe.
Yeah. So first I went there, then came over here, and I think we met there, right?
Yeah, there was a couchsurf meeting over there. It was the 17th when you arrived, because always the 17th we have the meeting. And then we met over there because you were late.
Okay.
And you came with the motorbike there, and then you came here in the night.
Yeah. So from the first time, Stuttgart struck me as a very beautiful city. And I don't know why. Sometimes I mention that and people go like, like they don't... Either they don't believe or they really have a different opinion. But what I saw is that it's a very green city. It's very organized, and Germany is generally a super clean and well put together country. But here is super cool. If I was to choose a place to live in Germany, I would say this would be maybe number one.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah, because it's big enough, has everything. You're not in a little village. Which little villages are great to spend a few weeks, but not to spend any much more time. And this is a very cool place.
It is actually, yeah. And I like it's like San Francisco. We have 600,000 people, so it's small. It's not a big city. But as you say, we have universities, everything you need. We have all the schools you need. We have good hospitals. We have the best companies in the world doing stuff here, like with Mercedes, Porsche, Bosch.
Yeah.
And we have like medium-sized and small-sized companies. They're the leaders in many fields on the world markets. We have work. Excuse me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, klar. So,
Hi.
hello. So we have all of this, you know. So it
Uh-huh.
makes it a rich city, which
Uh-huh.
therefore, of course, it's clean and nice and everything.
Hello.
Interview.
Ja.
Viel Vergnügen.
Und das ist der,
Merci.
wo, also so schlimm wie er ist, von der einen Seite von Amerika auf der anderen Seite joggt ist.
Yeah, well, this was when was the jogging? At the coast to coast.
First time in 2011 and
Uh-huh.
then again in 2014.
Also
How long
zweimal.
did it take?
Zweimal.
4 months.
Im 11 und
4 months and a
einmal
half the first time and
Ja, da war
almost 4 months the second time.
Okay.
Dann
ziemlich
hat
schlimm.
14 ist er auch.
Und what
Ja.
distance is
Aber dann
this?
ist er in 2 Jahren
It's about 5,000 kilometers each.
Okay, das geht schnell.
Good.
Mit dem Baby, Kinderwagen davor war
Ach so.
ich. Mit dem
No,
zweiten,
the first one, the second one I did with that backpack.
with a
that I
backpack,
had.
yeah, smaller. The first one he carried lots of stuff.
Mhm.
And then, of course, where you put it, okay, like this.
Yeah.
But it's,
Second one,
it's
the
more
first
easy on the
one.
back, I guess, because this is not good to jog, I guess.
No, actually, it's very good to jog. So the first one I ran more. The second one I walked more.
Ah,
And the second one, it felt like a pilgrimage.
like it?
Pilgrimage.
And it,
Ah.
Because I was
Yeah,
walking
right,
and
yeah.
meeting with people. I was depending on the help of everybody because I couldn't carry food. I couldn't carry a lot of water.
Okay.
You know, so it was much more social
Okay.
and
The people were
much
helpful?
more depending on the generosity
Okay.
of others, and so it felt actually it felt better.
Mhm.
Uh,
And the people were helpful? helped you?
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely, everywhere,
Mhm.
everywhere. Every day I met people along the way, complete strangers that helped me, gave me food, or some people drove to the city to buy stuff and bring it to me. You know, like it's amazing.
Okay.
It's amazing. The connection you make with the environment around you
yeah,
is
it's different, it's
unbelievable.
different, yeah. It's
Yeah.
Even if you travel with a bicycle, it's different.
Yeah.
Because you meet everybody.
Mhm.
And everybody talks to you. As when you're in the car,
Yeah.
the only guy you meet is the guy at the gas station.
Yeah.
That's-
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because you never meet locals anyway. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
Do you like Stuttgart?
Very much. That we were talking about it a moment ago. That I think it's maybe my favorite city in Germany.
Really?
Because it's so green, so nice.
Huh?
You know,
Ja, das ist
big
bekannt.
enough,
Uh,
organized.
ist die grünste.
familiar.
Hm?
Familiar. Was ist familiar? Familiar. Stuttgart. Familiäre Stadt im Prinzip.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's family friendly and because
Yeah.
it's small.
Yeah.
A lot of people know each other.
I just really like the way it looks, and you know, and how you are out in the woods. You're completely out in the forest,
Yes.
and you go through one tunnel, and boom, you're in the center already. You know, it's
Right.
so
Yeah.
small.
Yeah.
In a way, it's small, and I made friends here,
Yeah.
so I like it. There are other places that I like too, but Stuttgart is right on the top of the list.
Good.
Deswegen
Also.
muss gut Kaffee kochen.
Ja.
Coffee. Lot of coffee.
Ja, und dann bleibt Stuttgart oben. Weißt?
Ah, ja.
Dass man nicht absinken.
Right next to the Black Forest, which is one of the most beautiful rides around here.
Ja.
Okay.
Also, bis morgen. Ja.
Have a nice time. Ciao.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
Der
Bye, bye.
Kaffee, der ist morgen noch da.
Ah, okay.
Ja.
Well, then we see tomorrow.
All right. This is cool. I didn't even interrupt. I keep rolling.
So you have all the German blah blah blah.
Later,
That's
it's
the boss woman and her husband. So.
All right.
Good. Perfect. Yeah, I like, as I said, because it's small and everywhere you go, you meet people you know, which is nice. I can go to the west, I can go downtown, I can go, you go to a little party, and usually you know people.
Yeah.
So that's nice. And we have lots of festivities. So there, it's all, and then we have farmers market every day somewhere else in the place. 2 times a big one in the middle of the city, and then it comes to different places and all that little things. So it feels like we call it the biggest village in Germany because it has a village feeling, but it is a big city. And we have an airport, you can fly everywhere. And the good thing is you're in the middle of Europe.
Yeah.
So, down to Italy, down to France, you can do it you start in the morning, in the night you see the water.
Yeah.
Because you cannot go fast, obviously, in
Yes.
France and Switzerland. You have to drive slow. But anyway,
Yeah.
if you want to go skiing, you can go to Bavaria. You can go to Austria, Switzerland. It's just there. You go at 6 in the morning, and 3 hours later, you're in the snow.
Yeah.
And you can go up north, and you can go to the east. And you can go to Holland, for example, or whatever. Everything is just there.
Yeah.
Easy.
It's more or less in the middle, yes.
Yeah, you're like the spider in the web.
Yeah.
So for Europe, at least.
Yeah.
So I like that. But it's not big. You walk to the city center 15 minutes. But here we are in the green.
Yeah. There are some vineyards out there, right?
Over there, yeah, in the city.
We are surrounded by vineyards, and we are close enough to downtown that people park their cars here and go to work, right?
It's crazy.
Yeah. But you spend a lot of time in Asia, right?
In the winter time.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about that, because a lot of stories that we were talking about came out of your experiences.
It is like when I was 15, my mother bought me an Interrail ticket. And at the time it was only West Europe, but you could use every train for 4 weeks, every train. And my friend was 15, and we had a girl that she was 15 too. So we took off, and we wanted to see Europe, but in the end we stayed all of the time just in France. And it's the first time you go out and you're alone. And my father did lots of business in Asia before, so I saw the pictures he brought back, the statues and the stories. So I wanted to go to Asia a long time before, but with 15, the first time you travel alone, so you see it's very easy and it's doable. If you're 15, you can do it, you can do whatever.
Yeah.
So later, I just traveled Europe, because at the time you had to go to the army or do something instead. So I did 20 months. I worked with old people just around here, and I finished that, and then you're legally free to go. Now we don't have this anymore. You don't have to go to the army anymore, so you don't have to do that.
You don't have that requirement.
Yeah, I had to wait till that day, and finally I did that 20 months, and then before I learned a job and did all that things, and I was able to save money, because I could work and save that money. And my room here is quite cheap, so I saved money in order to travel. And I knew after the 20 months I'm free. And I bought a one-way ticket to Bangkok, not knowing do I come back in a week or in a year or in a month. Let's see. So it was just a one-way ticket. At the time you could do it. Now they ask you at least for a ticket out and whatnot, but it's easy. So I did that, and then Vietnam opened up in '89. The wall came down, all that shit. So of course I went to Vietnam, and it was $100 for 2 weeks just for the visa, and the flight was as expensive as flying back to Paris and coming back. It was just. But you had to do it, because now it's opening up, and this is when you have a chance to be the first here, the first there, the first there, and it was like a game at the time, because before we went to all the islands in Thailand, they were opening up. So you had 6 bungalows on the whole island, not 6 bungalow places, but only 6 bungalows. And it's now you go to the same island, now they go with they have a landing strip for 747s or stuff like that. It's just wow, and you don't go there anymore. But then Vietnam opens up, so I went, and I managed to get another 2 weeks extension with some money under the table. I went out. I was the first guy to get a 4 weeks visa in Bangkok issued. So I went again, And then I met some people, so I went to Malaysia hitchhiking around there, because I met a guy and he had no money. So we hitched, and it was amazing. People stop, and they take you around, and even we hitched with a truck with 2. It only has one big log on the back of a truck, like 8 feet or 12 feet. It's like a really big thing from some forest, and it's 2 guys, and they don't speak any English. And we stopped for tea, and we wanted, of course, to buy the tea. But it's impossible. They don't let you, and they don't have any money at all. So, and it adds up. Shit like that adds up. So then in Singapore, I got homesick. So I came back. And here, I got homesick not for home or for my family, but for my friends. And I came back, and I found out that half of my friends were not my friends, because some did some bullshit and stuff when I was away.
Mhm.
And then I bought a round the world ticket, next thing, because I still had money left,
Mhm.
and I did the 1 year around the world. So that was really nice. I did the big American trip and whatnot.
Mhm.
And then every winter, of course, Asia, because it's cheap.
Mhm.
So I go every winter for 4 or 5 months, something like that, 4.5.
Mhm. And you have been doing that since you were 20 or so?
Oh man, since '89,
Uh-huh.
outside of Europe, yeah. But since '89, every year, Asia.
Wow.
Yeah.
And but not all of the time to Vietnam, Malaysia. You have
No,
been
no,
to
no, no.
everywhere, right?
Thailand, usually Thailand every year, because somehow Bangkok is the hub.
Uh-huh.
And then, of course, Laos, Cambodia. When Cambodia was possible, then he went to Cambodia. Vietnam, obviously, when it
Mhm.
opened at the time. Myanmar, I don't know how many years ago, 13 or whatnot, was the first time. And that was really nice. And then I was a few times. And then, of course, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Philippines,
Yeah.
Southeast Asia in general.
Uh-huh.
And then China, but China, I did go in the summertime, so it's different.
Yeah. I have the impression that when you start traveling like this, one of the things that happens, at least it happened to me, it was a surprise, is when you discover that it's easy. Just like you mentioned in the beginning, if a 15-year-old can do it, right? Because there is an entire industry out there showing us packages and and the hotels and the airplanes and the expensive stuff, right? What you see on TV is usually the expensive things. Oh, it's people driving their expensive cars and doing. But then when you go yourself, you realize that there are many ways to do it.
Yeah.
And you can connect to people, and the generosity that you experience is unbelievable. uh, and one day you figure out that, well, I can stay at the hotel, but I can also go to a hostel. I can couch surf with someone. I can camp. In most places camping is easy, but you have to go through in my opinion, it's like a membrane of not knowing that the world is actually quite open. Uh, Even now, when I mention to people, oh yeah, no, I go to Europe and all that, and I camp everywhere. People say, oh, it's illegal to camp in most places. And to me, it's like, yeah, obviously, what you're saying is so obvious. Yeah, of course it's illegal, but does it matter? No, it
Usually
doesn't
not,
matter.
yeah.
Usually, it doesn't matter. It's so easy. Actually, it's not that it's difficult that it's easy to find a place to camp. Actually, it's hard not to see a place to camp. If you just look,
Yeah.
sometimes I'm riding and I see, oh, good campsite there, good campsite there, and I can do that. I can see a place every minute or two riding a motorcycle. You see, oh, behind that hill probably, and oh, there is this little road that goes like this. And you see the road. It's kind of, you just by looking at it, you can see not a lot of cars go there. So probably a farmer uses this road once a week.
Yeah.
To bring his tractor somewhere. So if you get there and you get a little bit outside of the road, nobody will bother you. And I did that in America as well, where it's also illegal to camp, but it's so easy to find a place that nobody will disturb you.
We had a
And-
van in America, so
Yeah.
but the first time I was there, I bought my own van and did
Uh-huh.
coast to coast a few times up to Alaska and
Uh-huh.
down to the last key of Florida and whatnot.
Uh-huh.
And I slept in the van all the time.
Yeah.
And it's super easy because it's not a camper caravan thing,
Uh-huh.
it's just a van. So you can park everywhere
Yeah.
and sleep, and the next day you move on. So
Yeah, and in America, by the way, for people that like to that are thinking of traveling by car and sleeping in the van, for example, most truck stops, they have showers there.
yeah,
So
that's what we
you pay
use,
like $10 and
Yeah.
and you can have a shower, and then you do your laundry there. It's super easy. Even if
Yeah.
and occasionally I would, let's say once a week or once every 10 days, I would use a hostel. So you socialize more and do your laundry and and have a different environment. But in parking, any rest stop is good. Parking lots of Walmart are good. Um, and there are a lot of places where you can just park and nobody's going to notice you.
Yeah,
You know.
and not bothered.
Yeah, and
Nobody
also
cares.
one day when I was running across America, one day the forecast was for rain, and I got into a city where everything was taken. Like all the hotel, there were no hostels. Camping was not a good idea because it was going to rain hard that night and cold, and the hotels were all taken. So I went to U-Haul and I rented a U-Haul van. That
Yeah.
it cost $19,
It's the
right?
cheapest one you
Yeah,
can find.
I rented a van. I park in a I found a parking lot of some big stores where there are a bunch of cars. It's one of these stores that is open 24 hours, so there were cars there at any time, and they had trees, some big trees in a corner. So I parked there under the trees and I camped inside the van.
Which is a
And that
perfect idea.
perfect, right? Because I had all the camping gear
Yeah.
with me. Then next morning I returned the van, and I paid, and the first like 50 miles were for free or something like that.
Yeah.
So I paid just $19.99
Yeah, which is
for that.
That's the cheapest
Yeah.
hotel motel
Yeah,
you can find.
exactly. So
Perfect.
I just rented a van.
Yeah.
So yeah, in America, driving and sleeping in the car is absolutely
No,
nice.
the funny thing is,
nice thing
like
to do.
I looked it up because somebody
Mhm.
told me, and I was like, oh, let's see. And I looked up on the Walmart webpage, and
Yeah.
they, not every Walmart, but most of them, it's allowed. They allow
Yeah.
you to stay, of course, not for a month.
Yeah.
And they say it would be nice if you do your shopping as well with
Yeah.
us.
Yes.
But on top of that, they have a toilet. For example, in the morning you can use
Yeah.
the toilet. You can buy some water and whatnot. Why not? You know?
When
And
you
you
are
meet people
traveling
there,
with
yeah.
a camper or something, where do you usually buy your supplies? It's at Walmart anyway,
Yeah.
right? So you go there and do your shopping.
Yeah.
It's very cool. Some businesses are being nice
Yeah.
in that sense.
I mean,
Well,
they have
yeah.
the space is empty, so
Yeah.
you know, in the night they don't really need it. And it's every time we did that, it was 5, 6, 7 other cars.
Yeah.
And then usually, if you go there and you see over there, these are the camper cars,
Yeah.
so you go there too.
Yeah.
Just is like a little fortress, you know.
Yeah.
We're the campers, so we stay
Yes.
here and hello and la la and quack quack, which is nice. You can socialize a bit and whatnot, you know.
Yeah.
And then in the night, because it's
Mhm.
5 or 6 campers, you feel safe
Mm-hmm.
because you're exposed, you know.
Yeah.
If I park in the neighborhood street, I feel safe too because I'm just one car of many. But if I would
Yeah.
stand, last time I had a girl with me, so there is some places I wouldn't actually sleep because I had the girl in the car. You never know, you know. Some like there's where was this? All the way up in the north in California, there's some places where you just put money in a box and you can stay,
Mm-hmm.
like official campgrounds.
Uh-huh.
But they're far out, you cannot see them from the street, and so it's like, okay, you have the girl in the car, I don't
Yeah.
know.
There are
Because you can see inside.
Yeah.
You know, we had the van, like the soccer mom van with
Yeah.
windows all around, so
yeah, so it was not yeah.
you know exactly what's in the van. So
Yeah.
okay, I didn't want to park in the middle of completely nowhere. you know.
Yeah. The a lot of parks are like that.
Yeah, park different
You
story,
get
you know.
especially state parks, you get there and you choose a place, and then you go back to the entrance, you get an envelope and it
Yeah.
has the instructions.
Exactly.
You fill up your
Yeah.
information,
Yeah.
and you put the money in the envelope and put
Yeah,
it there.
like Joshua Tree, we
That's-
did that,
that's how
for
you pay.
example.
Yeah.
That was really nice a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in the night it's only one ranger's looking because it says, okay, 4 cars here
Mhm.
and not more. So okay, if it's
Mhm.
full, it's full.
Mhm.
But then we had the own fire pit and whatnot, and Joshua Tree in the night, of course, like wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the parks anyway. You have too many of the nice parks there.
Yeah, no, traveling in America, you can go from park to park if you like. and
man.
totally
Yeah.
just stay in parks,
Yeah.
national parks and state parks, and they are
Yeah. But
nice.
now it's quite expensive. Well, before
It's
it was,
expensive, yes.
Now it's
Yeah.
just gotten expensive.
Yeah, it's getting, but they have they're doing European style now. They have passes that you pay, you know, you
Yeah.
pay a certain amount and you can visit as many parks as you want.
Yeah.
And then they have certain weeks of the year that you don't need to pay at all.
Which is
You
good
know,
if you
so
know, yeah.
if you just get some information and
Of course, but even the
you,
guys,
you
the
find
guys
you find
tell
good
you,
deals.
My friend Irini from LA, she gave me her pass because people, you can sign 2 people on the pass, and she has the yearly pass. So we did all the parks not all the parks in California, but many, of course. And one time I had to wait, and there was a tourist obviously in front of me, and the park guy told him, if you do 3 parks, you rather get the
pass.
the pass for the year because it's cheaper. So he even told him, and then he was like, wait a minute, I want to go. Yeah, let's give me the pass. So they even tell you, so which is very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have been, and strangely, at the same time, when you go, especially to federal parks, they really don't like that you stop and just camp there. You have to register because they are at the same time the parks, they are trying to preserve that land, you know, to a certain criteria.
Yeah.
So they don't want to have more people camping than they are designing the park for. That's why it's important that you register and and pay. And yeah, if you are going to do that a lot, get a pass because the national parks have that as well. Also, some places are very busy, like Yellowstone, for example. If you want to go to to certain parks, and there are parks that even if you call and try to reserve to stay there, unless you're calling months in advance, and some of them will only book, let's say, up to 2 months in advance. So it's super competitive to get in. But every day they reserve a few spots to book for people that just show up. So if you get there really early, you still get a place anyway. But either you reserve or you have to be there early in the morning, and you do get one. So licenses to to camp, to walk the trails as well. You always get it if you get it early.
Yeah.
So yeah, the parks are exciting. Here in Europe, each country is slightly different, but I noticed that Europeans are more relaxed. And by relaxed, I mean relaxed with strangers. It's like, how can I say this to express the idea correctly? I think that Americans are more fearful of strangers. That's the word. And I mean it. They are more concerned when they see a stranger, when they see something that they don't know or they don't understand. So they are worried, and with their cars and their walls and their guns and this. Here, no, you camp in some place, nobody bothers you. The cops don't bother you. The cops will only bother you if you are camping in a park in the middle of the city. Then they may check on you. But here, no matter what you are doing, people kind of leave you alone. They don't mess with you, and that's because they see you camping in some corner. They understand. Okay, that guy is camping. They are used to see it here. Yeah. In Germany, it's very common for the kids to take a year off before college, right? They take a year off and go traveling now. That's why you go to the hostels, and everywhere in the world, you go to the hostels, it's full of Germans. Why? Because you do it. And that what you mentioned earlier, of taking a year, not taking a year. I mean, you had to go to the army, or you had to sign up for some other service, right? But I discovered something very cool. You guys could sign up for some volunteer service even outside of Germany.
Yeah.
I discovered
Yeah.
because I was hosting once a German guy in Miami, and he was coming back from his 2 years volunteering in America. So he was there helping people in America, and that was counting as his military service in Germany.
We had
Uh,
it's a lot of environment stuff at the time. It was
Yeah.
you know, like you rebuild something or
Yeah.
rebuild whatever, earthquake help or stuff
Uh,
like that. They had some organizations.
Yeah.
You could work for the organization here, of
Uh-huh.
course, or they had projects somewhere, and it doesn't matter if you help an old guy here or over there.
Yeah.
It's probably the same. You know,
Yeah.
it's you help an old guy and you do this instead of the army. Okay, so you do it here, you do it there,
Yeah.
whatever.
And I thought that was such a beautiful concept, you know, because yeah, if you want, if you want the army thing, fine, go and do that and go
Yeah.
do play with those toys.
Yeah.
But if you don't like it, you know, being able to do something that is completely different, like volunteering in another country, and have that count is such a funny, pretty thing.
Yeah, but also it's. I mean, the thing was, for example, when the army would be 12 months,
Uh-huh.
you would have to do 18 months.
Uh-huh.
And I was lucky because he was 24, and just a month before it was my time, they reduced to 20. So, 2 years. So now, the young kids don't have to do it anymore, but they take 2 years of your life for that stupid thing, which if I would, I'm not sure, I didn't want to, somebody tells me, jump, run, do that, get up at 6 in the morning or 4 or whatever, what the fuck. So, of course, I rather do something else. And then also I needed to work to make my dream come true, like travel the world.
Yeah.
So if you're in the army, you can obviously not work in the afternoon or in the weekend or in the evening, it's not possible. So, and then of course I want to do something here in Stuttgart, so I don't have to rent an apartment and blah blah blah. So I can save that money, and also I can eat back home, so I save the money too, and all of that. So the good thing is at least you can choose. If you like to do something with the wild birds on an island, you have to maybe 2 or 3 years before, because not many seats are available to do the wild bird thing on a small island. It's only 1 or 2 guys at the time, but you could look for something that you're interested in, like a bird watcher thing. So it would be a dream come true, because they put you there where you usually cannot even be,
Yes.
in a park thingy or whatever. So that's good. And also, for me, I have to say, because before I just saw the houses of my friends, and this is the south of Stuttgart, and you didn't notice, but it's lots of big houses, and it's the old people that didn't move. It's more people work for the government or in a bank or in an office, so it's more high paid job, and education is higher. And I had also Heslach, which most of the old houses is red brick buildings, 2 floors high or whatnot, very small, and the apartments are very small, and the people there, the old people, they have a low education, and it's workers, or whatever, working outside or working inside factories, whatnot, but the education is lower. They use different words for the same stuff. And inside the city, even if you're not from Stuttgart, you probably don't hear it, but if you grow up here, we speak a kind of slang of the Swabian, which is only in the city. The young kids nowadays, it's more or less gone, but still you can hear where they're from. But so for me, it was very interesting, because then I looked in homes of people, like the poorer people, not the poor people, because we don't have these really poor people compared to other places. But anyway, there was no bathroom. I mean, there's a toilet and there's a small sink in the kitchen, and that's it. It's like, wait a minute.
But there's no shower, you mean?
Yeah, where's the shower, man? We don't have a shower. Like, what? This is my city. This is, it's now. But there's still, and all of my friends, of course, they have a shower, they have everything, like a proper bathroom, bathtub, whatever, So, in my mind, it's Stuttgart, If you go somewhere, Nicaragua, on a mountain, of course, I don't expect everybody has this thing.
Yeah.
So for me, it was very interesting also to see that. and then later, of course, when you travel, you see whatever. But it's even in my city was like that with these old people.
It's surprising to find it here, right?
Yes. So
Yeah,
it was
if
good
I
in
if
a
I
way.
rent a place, and one day I was many years ago, I was considering renting this room, let's call it this way, because it was on top. It was not an apartment. It was not a legal thing. It was this maintenance room on top of a building. So you would, my friend that he was renting it, he got a key from the landlord, and in exchange for doing whatever, turning off the lights or something, he got that place to live. It was just a room. He had a key to the. It's not a terrace. It's not an area for people to visit, but there is a door that you go to the rooftop of the building, and. But then he made a little patio. He put a few beach chairs and stuff like that, and the room had a sink and a toilet, and a room that was like probably 3 meters by 3 meters. So he built a little room and all that. But the first thing he did was to install a shower. And that I would do the same. If I got a place to stay even for a few weeks. First thing I would do is install a shower. Because so used to it.
Without the shower is terrible. Really.
Yeah.
If you do the thing in the car in the States, of course you don't shower every day, obviously.
But
after
you're not getting sweaty every day either.
Yeah, it depends. But if it's really summer and sweaty, I can do one day. But then it's like, I don't feel good. You know, it's because you're used to it. Maybe we overdo everything.
No, and camping, it's you can park anywhere where there are trees. All you need is a tree, to make a shower. You can buy a camping shower. All you do is you bring some water, you load it up.
Yeah, but you don't even need that. Because in Asia, lots of countries they have just the bucket shower thing. So you only have a little pan thingy, and then. You go into the shower, so your first day in Indonesia, okay, you have your room and everything nice, but the shower is outside. Okay, so you go, with your towel, and then shower. Okay.
Where is it?
What's going on here? It's a big concrete thing. It's full of water. But it's not for you to sit in, because there's one little plastic scoop, and then you do like that. And it's many places.
So it's not for you to get in, actually.
No, you can do that, but then probably
they will not like it.
Yeah, go, you go, crazy man. You get
they'll think this fucking Westerner doesn't understand hygiene.
At all. It's like shit. And usually these, most of them they not even have a plug to open it and clean it or whatever. So. It's not possible to take a shower there. But it's, for example, you do trekking in the Himalayas, in Nepal or India, there is no such thing as a shower. Some places have it, but some places they make you a bucket of hot water. So you have only a bucket like that, and it's $1 because they have to cook it up 4,000 meters or more. And then you have one cold bucket because cold water is enough, but they don't have a shower thingy. Because they don't do it that way. But so you have your ice cold bucket and you have the hot water bucket, and you think, how in the world? But two people, we use only the 10 liter of hot water, and it was okay to mix it a little bit, because if you have you only have one bucket, and wow, it's possible. You can wash your hair, but you do like 3 scoops, you're wet, and then soap, and then you use another 5 or 6 to get the soap away everywhere. It's okay, but you feel super fresh and super good, and it's the only way. So you get used to that. And I was 18, of course, you have a driving license. We went with a VW with a camper thingy, but not a camper thing, but just a bus. So you can put 2 wine boxes there, like the wood case, whatever. Where you have the wine bottles in. What is this? A case.
Yeah, case.
Is it? Whatever. So, like from the table tennis, half of it, and these two boxes, and it was completely flat. And underneath, you can put everything because the car is the engine in the back, so it goes up.
Yeah, it goes like this.
So we
Yeah,
always
you're talking the old VW
the
bus.
VW, the T3. Not the first one, but at the third of it.
The third generation.
Now it's the fifth or sixth. No, it's the 16.
The T2 is gorgeous, huh? The T2 is the one that had the windows would open forward.
But you cannot pay for it now anymore. This is even a T1 where you can open the windows, but it's so expensive now.
Yes.
Even the T3 it's getting more expensive every day.
Yeah.
But we had just 5-liter canisters of water, and we had a few of them. So the 5-liter, it's good if you're two, somebody can hold it. I mean, your solution, of course, it's luxury when there is only, they call it solar showers, because they're black. So you just hang it in the sun for half an hour, whatnot, and then even you have a warm shower to hang it. But it's with the canister, it's also okay because you don't have to save. If you know tomorrow I'm gonna drive, you're gonna fill up at a gas station or whatnot. There is water, so very easy. The best thing is if there is a stream, you just jump in the water. But then with it,
oh man, I love camping. I love camping next to streams and take a bath in the stream.
In the summer, perfect solution.
Yes.
Also, when we did hiking in Nepal, the water was freezing, but we did no shower for 2 days, and it's in the night it's cold, but it was India up in Spiti Valley, so you're at 4,500 and 5,000 in between, and it's hot in the day.
Meters, 5,000 meters. Okay.
So the air is thin and it's super dry, but super hot. So you have to carry your backpack and whatnot, and up and down, so you sweat. And then there's this stream. It's maybe 3-4 meters. It's fast and it's freezing. Super cold, of course.
Yeah.
But you go in and it's like, oh my God, you go out again, soap a little bit, you go in again, out again, you sit in the sun, and then after that you're twice as clean as you used to shower here for half an hour. Somehow the feeling, and you sit in the sun and the wind and you get dry and and it's wow, good. But it's not really, you cannot enjoy it because it's so cold, but you will go in, everybody will go in because wow, there's water, and the next few days there is no shower because the locals don't have this thing. They have a dry toilet. That's the only thing they have. I don't know if they ever shower. I have no idea.
When I went through the desert in 2011, between the middle of Texas all the way to very close to Los Angeles, along the south, you don't see any running water at all, because all the streams during winter, all the streams are dry. They have some streams that go through during summer or spring, especially. They are full during spring, but during winter you don't see any water. So of course, occasionally I would go to a hostel or I would stop at a truck stop and use it. But in truck stops, sometimes they don't. If they see that you are walking, they think that you are a hitchhiker, or that you are a panhandler or hobo, and they don't want to serve you because they say, "Oh no, the showers are only for the truck drivers," At the point, right?
Yeah.
But so I always left. I would kind of leave my backpack outside or whatever the gear. I would leave it outside and I would kind of look normal. I would wear a t-shirt and something like this. So I kind of look like a truck driver anyway, right? So I would go and buy the ticket for the shower first. Then I would go out and get my things and get in.
And they not even see you then.
Then they don't notice. But I remember going through Mojave Desert and all that, and then you get into California. And after Palm Springs, the same day of Palm Springs, you go to this, they call it wind farms. It's like this few miles full of...
I just drove there.
Full of those windmills. Right after them, that is a stream. And after nearly 6 weeks, 7 weeks without seeing running water, I would sit there and just put my hands on the water and watch it. just watching that. It was amazing. I love that experience.
Did you go Salvation Mountain at the trip?
I did that by motorcycle.
Yeah, another time. No.
Yeah, I did it
Because it's
actually.
close to
Actually,
Palm
sooner.
Springs, yeah.
I did Salvation Mount. The slabs. I went there in 2010.
Oh.
That was before my run. And that was because of the movie. I saw Into the Wild,
Yeah.
and I went there. I talked to Leonard, and I spent the night there. And these labs are interesting experience, especially during winter. I would say it's nicer. It's more full of people from the north, and that they go there to run away from the winter. But at the same time, it's sad. I felt that some people are there for some ideological reason. They want to be away from bills and connections and the government and stuff like that.
So, no.
But the majority of the people that are there because they can't be anywhere else. They can't function anywhere else. So I think it's very important that this kind of places exist.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, those people will be in jail. Okay, I'll tell you, some people are there. If the desert doesn't exist for them, they'll be in jail somewhere because they cannot fit anywhere. So it's good. It's a good thing that it exists, but it's a little sad at the same time. And you see a disconnection and a loneliness that is very palpable over there.
Yeah, I didn't stay overnight, but so I don't know. I just, obviously when you drive by and there's just the last little village, also lots of camper vans in the village, on the outside of the village, and you look like, okay.
Yeah.
And then I stopped at 2-3 little places on the lake. Before it was you can see the old motels and everything. Before this was the place everybody wanted to be, and now the whole thing is it's trash everywhere. Everything's closed.
Everything's abandoned.
Yeah, it's still a few people live there. It's just you drive through that thing, and it's how fast it comes from paradise to
There are
dust.
there in
no
America
time.
there are a lot of ghost towns, right? There are somewhere I read that there are some 400 ghost towns just in the West Texas area, which is not a surprise. Totally not a surprise because because based on the economy, someone finds oil here, everybody comes in and
like
they build a city
the
overnight.
gold rush
In California,
or up north in Alaska.
But the same happens everywhere. Like in the West Texas now, it's oil. So they are drilling everywhere. I went through Pecos, Texas, for example, between 2011 and 2014 when I ran back. It looks totally different. Like you would see an oil rig here and there in 2011. Now it's everywhere. Everywhere. You look at the horizon, there is one here, one there, one there, one there, one there, one there. It's like in the coast of Alabama, there are so many oil rigs in the ocean that you can literally swim from oil rig to oil rig. It's illegal and they are going to stop you quite fast if you try to do it, but physically it's possible to swim from one oil rig to the next.
Crazy. Even with the low oil price, they're still doing all the crazy things,
Yeah, but they never invest on this based on today's oil price. It's because it takes 20 years to recover the investment on these things. So but the oil, they are drilling a lot in West Texas, so it's a busy place. I was running across the state, and one day this guy stopped his pickup truck. And usually people stop to ask if I need water or something, right? Or need food. This guy stopped the pickup truck and say, "Hey, you're traveling?" I say, "Yeah, I'm running across America." "Oh, cool. Do you want a job?" I said, "No, actually, I'm not looking for a job." I said, "Oh man, I really need someone to drive a truck for me. Do you have a driver license?" I said, I do, but you know, I'm doing this other thing. He didn't even let me finish the phrase. He said, look, I need another driver for the truck. You get a job today if you want. It's like that over there. It's crazy. If you can drive a small truck, or if you can weld, or welding, I would say, is the top job there. Or if you have mechanical skills and you don't mind being under the Texas sun in the summer, man, you make money there. You know that it's impossible to be unemployed there. You know, because there is too much work. Too much work. And now same in South Dakota, places like that. So there are these spots in America and in other parts of the world too, but over there it's very evident. You go to a city like Pecos today, you don't even need to look for a job. You just go to the edge of the road, or stand in front of Home Depot there and just stand there, and people will stop and offer you a job.
Because obviously you have nothing to do. You're standing in the middle of the day, standing around.
In the desert, they'll stop.
Guy needs
They'll stop
a job.
and they'll ask, what do you know? And if you say, I know welding, you're going to be making, I would say...
enough.
No.
More.
If welders there... I discovered that because I was talking to a guy that he does drilling there. And he told me that they are paying $40-50 per hour.
Sounds good.
To welders. Just because not a lot of people know how to do it well. And that is no, you know, they don't want to see your diploma. They'll say, okay, weld that. Let me see how you do it. Yeah. You know? And if you do it well, $40-50 per hour and you work all day, man, you are going to save some money. Yeah. You know? It's like people used to go to work as a contractor in Iraq, or, you know, in Dubai or something like that when they were in the beginning of building it, and you would go and save $100,000 a year, you know, in extra money. It's the same there. It's the same in West Texas now. It just doesn't look as nice.
Yeah, but that's, if you want to
it's
travel,
hard work.
If you want to travel, you should do that for a year or two. And
I think so,
you
yeah.
have a few years you can travel.
Exactly. You can imagine if you save... I would say if you don't mind the crazy work hours, and it's going to be tough, but you can go to a place like South Dakota today, or West Texas, or some places like in Idaho. You can save $50,000-60,000 in 1 year, easy. $50,000-60,000. You can spend
years of traveling.
You can spend years in Eastern Europe and Asia.
Sure.
Like in Ukraine, you live very well with $1,000 a month.
Yeah, in Southeast Asia, you're the king.
Yeah.
Not in Singapore and Hong Kong, but apart from that, you can really have a very good life.
Exactly. Yeah. It's beautiful. You can be living on the beach somewhere, and you know.
The thing is, you go for food 3-4 times a day. You know, you go to the restaurant every time you go for food. And you have a nice bungalow wherever you want it at the sea, on the island. The laundry is done for you, you know, everything.
Yeah.
Just the only thing you have to do is, what will I eat now? That's a big decision. Will I go to another island or not? And what kind of transport am I going to take? Yeah. And do I want to talk to these people or to these people today?
You get there, you buy some old scooter, you have a ride now, you know, and you're fine.
Yeah, I did in Vietnam. I rented one for... 7 weeks. I paid $2.5 a day for the machine because I was, you know, if you buy one, okay, you have to sell it again. No, it was less. I paid €80 for 7 weeks, so it's not even $2 a day.
Yeah.
Which, you know, and it's a rental. You know, I had 3 flats, and fixing the flat was the guy. One time, the guy he went to his house and he came back because he brought his tools. So you're just like, okay, and then how much is it? It was $1. Thank you very much.
Yes.
You know, then you give him a tip, he's super happy.
Yeah.
And the other guys I had to fix because then the tire was completely, the tube was gone. You know, so they put a new tube and everything. And it was one of the shitty scooters with the automatic. So the machine was good, everything was good. But the automatic means you have to get the pipe off and this and that. It's not just open, get out, because no chain and nothing. So you have to get all this. So it takes more time.
Oh, because the engine is in the hub?
The engine is it in the hub? No, it's somewhere in the front. But then it's automatic, so you just do this. So
Yeah, it's
whatever,
no transmission. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We use two cones. It's a system like
it's
this.
It's a system. And I never in my life I rented one of these. So this was the first time, because I did everything with a chain I found, because I said I go to Hanoi 2 days, I have transport and I move, so I didn't want to stay there longer and waste my time for motorbike. Then okay, I take this one, and now when I go to Asia, I'm gonna buy one of these. I'm gonna buy a new one because I'm sold. This is good. It works. Anyway, a new tube with everything, it was $250 or something. US, and so I give them $350.
Yeah,
they were super happy. I was super happy. It was 10 minutes. I was on the road again. Then the thing is, you come with your motorbike. They say, I come back tomorrow. Come back next week.
Yeah.
And they were working on something. Then you show up as the foreigner, and then they come and quack quack quack, and they don't understand the word, and I don't understand the word either. But okay, here they see okay. And then first the woman, she thought it's just a flat, okay, quack, 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 quack. And then, okay, she showed me, and I'm trying to pull off the old one, and I had the whole, okay, we need a new one. Then the guy was coming with his tools, and they did it right away. They let everything, everybody was coming and helping you, and it's crazy.
Yeah, I noticed that in Eastern Europe when I needed some maintenance, I would roll in with my motorcycle, and they would stop whatever they are doing. And everybody would work on my bike at the same time, and in half an hour everything's done. It's amazing that, I call that, I have a word for that, that I say it's the I was referring to, now I don't remember the word, but it was more or less like the Westerner privilege. That you get access to more things. It's like you're a VIP everywhere you go, which is a little bit of it's not really right. But I'm not going to say that I didn't use it.
No, I did not. I did not abuse it and not use it. I don't go first in line and quack quack quack. But sometimes they call you from the end of the line, and then what you do? You say no, I cannot. It's like okay, and everybody in the line is like, go, and I'm okay. Sorry guys, but I don't want to do that because
with the motorcycle especially, I went to places and that they stop. So whoever owns the bike that they stop working, is having his job getting late, right? And they stop and they go and work on my bike, and they still charge me like 20% of what I would cost to fix the same thing anywhere else, So I'm not going to say no. I'm going to pay and leave and be happy with it.
Of course. And sometimes the owner of the other bike, when I got my bike, he's standing there, but whatever. So he's 10 minutes later. So he's just coming and looking, and then okay, let's have a picture together, because I'm tall, so everybody likes my picture, and then they're just taking pictures and whatnot, and everybody's happy, It's like crazy. I want to come back to what we said, what we talked earlier, when you said in the States the people are more fearful. I noticed after 9/11 it changed a lot. Before, when I was there in 89 and 90 and 91 and so on, I went every year. I went to New York, for example, at least once, sometimes 2 times. I had friends in the city, in Brooklyn and whatnot. So I visit them every year, and some of the times I did trips and whatnot. And it was not like it's now. This time, a few times when we parked somewhere, somebody came and asked, can I help you? But not, can I help you? Just checking what. Who are you guys?
Or better yet, what are you?
And what are you doing here? So okay, we know. Okay, we go around the corner and park there. So it's okay, no problem. But it changed. But if you go to small town USA, it's still like before. Everybody talks to you and blah blah blah.
Yeah, it is
but
still.
I noticed after 9/11, many things changed. It's more police presence, and it's more people are a little bit more like.
There is more. There is more police now. and the police is in more situations. Like there were things that the police would not care to go and check, and now they check.
Yeah.
Just because I guess there are more of them, and they don't have much to do really. Uh, but people are more fearful, and that change is clear. Uh, After 9/11, there was 9/11 shook the country. It was in a material way. It wasn't a huge attack. You know, 3,000 people in numbers is not much. All right,
compared to
but
280
it hit America right in the heart of America psychologically. You know, it shook the imagination of America, and then there there were many ways that the country could have reacted to that, and it chose the worst one. You know, it chose fear. It chose, it chose more war, more violence, more fear,
so
more disinformation.
The terrorists won because
the terrorists totally won. If I was a terrorist and I was watching the entire history of how it happened, I would be laughing my ass off.
Yeah.
Okay, America did everything wrong after 2011, and then and I'm not just talking about the wars. I'm talking about domestic stuff as well. So in every way that the ignorance or fear of people could have manifested, it did.
Yeah.
And instead, that could have been an opportunity for self-examination, to strengthen our freedoms, and it could have been the opportunity to educate people, and to figure out what is our role, and improve that. So at the same time that we had these amazing opportunities, the most fearful and backwards side of American society took charge. Yeah. So it's like suddenly, the circus is in crisis, and they decide to manage it from the cage of the baboons. So it was the worst doing it, and the result is visible. We have a super militarized police. Yeah. Distrust like never before, things like that. Not everything's lost, as you say. There are places that you go, and people still treat you well. The regular person is generally nice. At least there is still a lot of racial tension. And that I don't know if it's better or worse than it used to be, but there is still a lot of racial tension. But and I understand that we are on the good end of the stick, in that sense, because I wouldn't want to be black there. It would be in some places you feel. I have friends that I see sometimes them being discriminated, very often in very subtle ways. But they are discriminated. So I would say that since 9/11, a lot of things got really worse. And I'm not seeing them getting better. Is America still a cool, an interesting country? In my opinion, yes. I think it's an amazing country. It's still amazing. Even with everything that we have been doing wrong, it's still an amazing place.
Yeah, but you have
but
every landscape there is.
Yeah,
from
but
the desert to the ice, in Alaska.
Yeah.
So
to me, it's just a feeling of lost opportunity. It could be so much better. We could be more free, more happy, more compassionate. We could be more helpful. We could be more open-minded and more more understanding. There are a lot of things that could be better, and instead we have some monkeys in Washington D.C. getting everything backwards, and that we'll live with that. Probably during our lifetime, it's not going to be better than that.
No, probably not.
Yeah. But it's still an exciting country, as you say. That is all kind of, the geography is incredible.
Yeah.
And that's why I say I cannot choose between Europe and US. I don't think in terms of countries anymore. When people ask me, are you from the United States? I say, no, not all of them. I like some of them and I don't like some. Just like in Europe, I like some places more than others, right?
Yeah.
So I start to think in terms of cities. I don't like countries, I like cities. Because you never really visit a country. You visit a city,
Yeah,
right?
visit friends
You
or
visit a
whatnot,
place, but you never interact with the country other than customs,
Yeah.
right? You are never interacting with the country. You are interacting with a city, and you are talking to individuals, right? And in that sense, like in Germany, Stuttgart and a few other places that I like a lot, or in Ukraine, I love Kiev. But I have been to the east of Ukraine, and I think it's a bunch of crap. I don't like east of Kiev. I don't care. But the west of Ukraine is amazing. Like the places are beautiful, and the people are amazing. Uh, or Spain was very nice to visit. And the more I was getting to the west, like Catalonia is beautiful, but it's super expensive.
Yeah,
Because
sure.
the economy of Catalonia is so into the French thing and the European cost of living, so you feel that everything is expensive. The moment that you are going, let's say, west of Pamplona, everything gets cheap and nice, and it's not as pretty and IKEA style as Catalonia, but it's super nice still. Very old and very cheap. So there are a lot of good places, and it's very difficult for me to even choose a place to be between Europe and America, because I like both. And I'm happy that you have been there too a bunch of times, so you can draw that comparison.
Yeah. No, before
You
I
have seen it.
was many times before. After 9/11, for a few years I didn't go because too much things were going on. And then I went again a few times, and I still like it. I mean, you need a car to go around because obviously I don't have 4 months to walk.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes I just went to New York a few days, and then I went to Boston and visit a friend, and then I just had a car for 2.5 weeks and went New Hampshire and up a little bit, left, right. Did the cheap $18 modal thing.
Yeah,
great.
That New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine part is magic.
Wow.
Wow.
Along the coast and whatnot in Maine, it was just very beautiful.
Yeah.
The spring was late, so unfortunately most of the trees there wasn't green, so it would be nicer. But just along the coast, and you see the old towns, and you go to the old graveyards, you read the stones, the numbers, 1800 this and that and this, and you see that the names of the family names of the people. So they probably Norway, probably Germany, probably England, this and that. Nice. And then small places, they have one house and it's the museum, and there's one old woman and she's sitting there and she's super happy because nobody visits.
Yeah.
It's not the season, so it's nobody coming. So
Yeah.
then she takes you not at the hand literally, but then she walks you from one exhibit to the other and tells you everything, and it's like 1 hour of it's the best time in the day. It's so great.
I went once to a little place in Vermont. The city was so, and I had to do some bureaucracy there, and so I had to go to the police department. So the instructions were go to the police department, and you need to talk to the chief of police in that city and all that. That was such a joke. I went to that city. The police department is one guy. It's one guy. He drives his own car. He puts a sign on top of it. That's the police, And I said, so do you work like, you can't work 24/7? He said, no, I do like a few hours a day on the, hold on a second. I do a few, hold on. I said, no, I work a few hours a day, and then if someone needs anything, they call, and I put the uniform and I go. You
That's
know,
good, yeah.
that's it. So there are a lot of cities in New Hampshire and Vermont that's it. The police department is one guy. In some places, someone told me about this little town in New Hampshire. They said the police and the mailman is the cop in the city, because there is only one guy. He delivers the mail and he's the cop.
So he knows everything. That's
He
good.
knows everybody, and
And it's easy
nothing
to,
happens.
if you have a question,
Yeah.
he drops
Yeah,
by
it's
your
like
house once a week.
it's
at
like
least.
probably like 200 houses in that
Yeah.
town, and that's it.
Yeah, but this is like a small town USA, and it's
Yeah.
still more or less like before 9/11. You know,
Yeah.
it's not a lot did change there. At least that's my feeling, because
Yeah.
obviously you go to the gas station there, and usually the gas station also is a small shop.
Yeah.
And it's the only small shop, so
Yeah.
there is always 3 or 4 people in there. So you make your coffee, and then they look at the number plate, and then blah blah blah. Ah, no, I'm from Germany, just tourist.
Yeah.
Ah, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And the other guy is coming. Ah, blah 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 blah. And then you talk
Yeah.
for 15 minutes.
That didn't
and it's
change
nice.
much.
That
Yeah.
didn't change
That
much.
didn't change much. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was you don't see any difference.
No.
I think that the greatest difference is in the big cities. It's in the national policy
Yeah.
of things,
Yeah.
which
Suburbs, I would
yeah,
say.
which
Suburbs
also-
changed the
yeah.
most. Suburbs next to big cities, because there are people there. They're more. There's the gated community which without a gate.
yeah.
But everybody's like, wait a minute, that's a number
don't
plate
know that
which is
one.
not from here, and the car is not from here, so something's wrong. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, wow.
Yeah, and it's funny how in America it's like this. They have that is a factor of fear, that a lot of people there are fearful of anything they don't understand, right? Anything they don't know, they know. But at the same time, they are very welcoming.
Mm.
At the same time,
Mm.
so it's like I joke about it a little bit. I say, if they notice that you're from far away, they may make an apple pie and bring it to you. The gun is on the side. They're wearing a gun outside, but they're bringing you a gift.
Yeah.
So at the same time, there is this conflict, not conflict. There is this paradox of being a country where they are so where strangers are so misunderstood, but at the same time, Americans are so welcoming. And when you travel to the South, especially, you are overwhelmed by how nice they are to you. You know, so it's a paradox. I think that we have a combination of policies and politicians that people get really surprised and really incredulous of how can it be that bad. You look at places like Texas, in which apparently one of the conditions to be governor is that you have to be retarded. Otherwise you cannot be a politician in Texas. But when you are dealing with the Texans, you understand that, okay, the education here is going through there are some problems here, but they are really nice. Really loving, caring, cool people. How do they choose the worst among them to be the politicians is a little bit of a paradox that I don't understand very well. And I'm not so cynical to say, it's identical, because apparently the politicians tend to be the most psychopathic people in any population. You get any group of people, about 1% of them have some serious psychopathic tendencies. Usually they end up becoming politicians and CEOs. And I'm not saying that as an offense to anybody. There are plenty of videos and studies about it, that certain personality types are attracted to certain occupations. Just like when you go to church, you find plenty of people with OCD. It's just a certain natural flow of people. And when you go to government, the worst psychopaths are there, uh, in the executive side of it. And in Texas, the politics are embarrassing, in states like Alabama, Mississippi, Texas. But all of it, when you look at how does it affect you personally, sometimes it's very little.
Especially when you travel, it doesn't affect you at all.
Yes, when
It's
you
just-
travel,
it's
it's
the
very
people,
little.
The people, but it's not.
Exactly.
You know,
That's why being an expat is so good, because whatever problems a country has doesn't affect you too much. If something gets too annoying, you just go to another country.
exactly, yeah.
So being expat is so comfortable in that sense.
Out of Manhattan and Brooklyn and whatnot because nobody can afford. And my other friend still lives there, but very small, 2 kids, no space for me. So I had my expensive camera and whatnot at his place, and I had a hostel somewhere 120 or 130 something street, And I wasn't aware that you cannot have a open beer. So I bought the beer, and it was in the paper. And I walked the street at 1:30 or 2 in the morning, and I drink. And there was one guy with a bicycle running a red light, and he had not even a light on the bicycle. So there was 4 cops in a cruiser, but no lights, just civil.
Yeah.
So they stopped him and quack quack quack, and one little guy sitting there looking, and then he was a very small guy, and he was running to me, and I'm like, what the fuck? Because it's fucking police running to me, so you freeze. Like, okay, I do nothing now because it's fucking.
I freeze. Yeah.
Yeah, what you drink? A beer. Why? And then he's like, come with me. And I'm okay. So we walk back. The bicycle guy is gone already. They just told him, hey, you don't do that anymore. And then, okay, passport. And then they take my beer and they stay inside the car because it starts to rain. I stand in the rain. And then they're like, okay, don't you know it's open container? And I'm like, so, yes. Don't you know you cannot do that here? And I wanted to say, do you know can you do it in Bangkok or Berlin or elsewhere? It doesn't say nowhere. So how am I supposed to know?
Yeah.
So you can just tell me, okay, don't do it anymore and let me go. No, it's $25. And the guy in the back,
they love to give a ticket
the guy
in New York.
The back, he has to fill the form, but now it's a German passport. So okay, what do I do now? Because where do you live? Obviously, you cannot put my German address. He needs so I give him the address of the hostel. Then a police car with 2 more guys. They get out of the car. They ask the 4 guys in the car with guns and everything. They ask him, do you need assistance? I'm standing in the rain. So
maybe you guys need some help.
Yeah. So they asked the guys in the car, do you need assistance? And I was like, okay, if I would be on the floor and screaming and shouting and they try to hold me down because I'm really, I'm a Hulk Hogan or whatnot. Do you need assistance? Maybe you need some. I'm standing there and they're not even going out of the car. So obviously they don't need a fucking assistance. Otherwise they would be out of the car maybe and do whatever, try to handcuff me or kill me. So I'm like, what is next? The SWAT team is coming around the corner or maybe something like that. And then the guys were all Puerto Rican, I don't know what. So, and they look at the beer, it was a blue ribbon, the Pabst thingy, because it's like a thing. So they look at the beer and then we talk about beer in general and they just know their the soul and the this and the that because they drink all Mexican beers. So obviously I'm from Germany, so we talk about beer, blah, blah, blah. And he needs, 20 minutes to fill out this stupid form. And then they give me the ticket thingy and they give me the beer back. And I'm like, it's one of the big cans. So now what I do with this? And they say, we're leaving now. And I say, so what I do with this? And we're leaving now. And they go. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I finished it quick and I dropped it in the bin, And just the night before I had 4 bottles of beer for the hostel because the hostel around the corner, they didn't have the Pabst and I wanted to drink the Blue Ribbon. So I walked and I passed a big police station up there in 100, I don't know which street, 120 something or whatnot. I walked past the police station with an open beer, not even in the thing, and was drinking, and there was 2 black guys coming and asked me for money. And I said, I don't have money, but I can give you a beer. And then he said, I don't drink. I said, maybe you sell it to somebody. And then he took a beer, but he looked at me like, okay. And then in front of the police station. Obviously, that's a strange guy because he has an open container and a few bottles of beer. Okay, and then they were like, yeah, bye. So after that, no more open container.
No, you remind me of one day in Miami, in North Miami Beach. I was riding home, and I had a little Ninja bike, a Kawasaki Ninja, and a cop pulled me over, and he said, you are riding. 'Cause in Miami, in Florida, you can ride without a helmet, but you need to have insurance. However, later I was reading about it. He shouldn't have stopped me because in Florida, the cop is not supposed to stop you just to check for insurance.
Yeah,
He can only stop you if you're also doing something incorrect,
Yeah.
which I wasn't. But you you don't go to court to argue that point.
No,
you
in
fuck
fact,
it.
I wouldn't even argue with.
And I didn't have insurance actually, but the moment they stopped me, then they asked, do you have a gun on you? And I said, yes, sir, I have a license to carry. I said, all right. Then they said, all right, no problem. Just don't do anything too fast. I said, all right. And then they checked the papers, and the guy gave me a ticket for the insurance, for not having insurance. And for riding without a helmet, without insurance at the same time. I had, because the law says that you need to have health insurance, right? And I have health insurance, but my health insurance was from Massachusetts, because I'm a resident of Massachusetts. But in Massachusetts, they don't give you a paper to show to the cops, because there is no law that requires that in Massachusetts. So I had insurance, but I didn't have a paper. So I could go to court and argue that. I would probably win, but the cop had a little bit of an attitude. Oh, fuck it. And then, okay, they finished the stuff. They said, all right, have a good night. And I was thinking, okay, you stopped me and gave me a ticket because I'm riding without insurance. And you are leaving, and then I'll just ride home. And they said, all right, we are going. And they left. They left, and I kept riding. You're still without insurance. So the only thing that they are doing is actually making money, because they need to make a quota, They need to make a certain amount of tickets. I have a friend that he's a cop, and he was told one day that he had to give 10, it was something like 10 tickets a day. That was a quota that he had to do. And they say, yeah, you need to make 10 tickets. So he said, so if I stop one guy and give him 10 different tickets for different things, is that good enough? They say, yeah, as long as you make 10 tickets. It doesn't matter. Yeah. He said, but this doesn't improve anything. It doesn't improve safety or public policy or anything like that. And then they kept looking at him like, what the fuck are you talking about? All right, so I know when you have friends that are cops, they tell you, yes, we have quotas. We need to give a certain amount because the city needs the money, to pay us. Because that the police departments usually they have in most places they have their own budget, so that money goes back to their budget. That's so wrong.
But that's wrong because you have to make.
Because then there is a financial incentive.
You have to find bullshit like broken taillight, like a few days ago, just 3 days ago, broken taillight, and it ends up the guy shoots the guy for nothing. It's a fucking broken taillight, and if he would not have that, of course he would still be alive. But because if you have to have the 10 tickets,
but also the taillight thing. I was stopped for taillight not working in Massachusetts once, and the cop said, "Oh, did you notice that your back lights are not working?" I said, "No, I drive from the inside." He didn't like that answer. No, I said, "No, I drive from the inside. How can I see the fucking light, right?" He didn't like it. He gave me a ticket. He wrote a ticket. Yeah. During the time that he was writing a ticket, 3 more cars show up. So at some point there were 4 police cars around me. Yeah. Because my lights were off. But that one, he didn't let me continue riding without the back lights. I had to call a tow truck. I called the tow truck, AAA, and it was late at night. So during the time of the ticket and the time that the truck came and all that, the sun was rising.
Oh.
And so I told the tow truck to drive me like 5 miles, and drop the car at a parking lot somewhere. And I waited half an hour, then I drove home, because then probably nobody would notice. And then I got it fixed.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a lot of bullshit. That kind of bullshit, got worse, for sure. That is a lot more.
That's I think just the financial situation.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with 9/11 or not broken taillight.
No,
obviously.
it does because we have more cops now. We have a lot more, and they are much more armed, and the quantity of equipment and material, and also remember that since 9/11 we have 2 very active wars, with a lot of guys coming back from war, and they have preference to get into police departments. So. And one of my friends that he is a cop. He's in training. He's in training new recruits, and he said that it's a lot of work to untrain them from the ways that they do things in the military to then do it the way they do it in civilian police.
Yeah.
He said they come back with the skills and the memory and the habits of doing things in a certain way.
Sure.
And sometimes that can be very dangerous. So they need to unlearn, especially shooting. So, teaching the military guys to shoot like cops is a nightmare. Because they are used to a different sequence, and they did it so much. Because in the military they do shooting like training constantly. So they have a lot of motor memory, a lot of skills that are very fixed, very difficult to correct. So we have a lot of police officers that are ex-military, and I don't say that with any disrespect to ex-military, but it's a different training. It's a training of different nature, and you don't unlearn that easily, So, I bet that the way that things, that one thing can influence the other can be bad.
Yeah, it's the de-escalation. And in the military, there is no such thing.
There's no much of it.
Kill, more or less. It's not de-escalated situation.
Yeah.
Like the British would do, because the British police is different from American police. A few years ago, they even had guns.
They have guns now. People
guns,
still like to say they don't have guns.
Yeah,
no, they do. But they operate differently. They operate differently.
Just imagine a few years ago they didn't even have guns.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is
exactly.
different.
There is a certain difference in attitude. You look at the way the cops operate in other countries. Yes, it is different. I'm not saying that in America the system should be different, because I also understand that the ways that the cops operate in America work well most of the time. It's just that they are having to figure out a way to solve for those exceptions. When the guy is stressed out, when the guy is loaded with adrenaline because he just came from a car chase, or maybe when he's having a bad day and then his old training is going to apply. When he should, there are some things that they are having to adjust. And I understand, it's a country with 300 million people. Of course shit will happen every week, but it's evident that the incidents, that the problems happen to blacks in a disproportionate number. It happens in certain cities in a disproportionate number. And it happens in certain parts of the cities also. So that has to be corrected. But that doesn't mean that everything they are doing is crazy or wrong. Every country has its own style, right, of dealing with it, and its own combination of laws. Now, there are a lot of things there that are silly, like the police department having to give tickets to pay for their own budget. That's ridiculous. Weird, the way some things on our like companies profiting from having more people in jail. That's kind of crazy.
What the hell? Who came up
No,
with
but
this idea?
the privatizing. Here's what people don't know. Jails have been private for a long time.
Yeah, but now it's a big business.
It
So you
they
have people in
for
jail that don't
yeah,
even belong there.
there,
in the
there,
first
there have
place,
been
you know.
private prisons for many years,
No.
but it was after the 80s. You know, during started in the Reagan administration when they had the tough on crime, you know, policy, and then during the Clinton administration, then that's when the numbers start to really go up, and then a lot of policies and a lot of laws change, and the contracts also then gradually change in such a way that the state has to keep a certain number, has to keep a rate of occupation on the jails now. So
Yeah.
there is no incentive to send less people.
Uh-huh.
You know, to the point that judges have been sent to jail for repeatedly sentencing kids to go to jail or to juvie when they shouldn't, you know,
Yeah.
and sending people to jail when it was not necessary, just because they are getting it's
Payback
not
somehow.
it's not even paybacks. It's because the companies that are on the jails are doing campaign contributions, which is it's
Yeah.
legal there, which
Yeah.
is crazy, you
Yeah.
know. So you have a system in which bribery is legal, you know, and that is crazy. So there are some things we need to fix there, and you know, that don't make any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit.
Well, it will get better eventually, or
Yeah.
not.
It will
I
get
don't
better or
care.
not. That's what
Or
I like
not.
to say, because
Yeah.
we don't know
Yeah.
if it does or not.
So, how is life now? Traveling to Asia mostly during winters
Winter,
there,
only winter.
summers here.
Summer is
Yeah.
Europe or like the States.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Uh-huh.
This time I do small thing just. So I gonna stay here. Sometimes I go to India, for example, and then I do the hiking in summer.
Uh-huh.
But this time I stay in Europe,
Uh-huh.
and I gonna go visit a friend in Poland, and then I
Uh-huh.
got a bus ticket for €9 from Lodz to Łódź. You know Łódź, maybe it's in the middle of Poland.
Uh-huh.
Exactly, to Berlin, €9. So
9 years.
I visit some people in Berlin, and I'm a member of Trusted House Sitters since 2 days ago, and I'm looking for a pet sitting opportunity in England right now.
I saw some of it. I signed up one day in a place called Mind My House or something like
Yeah,
that.
that's similar. Probably.
Yeah, it's a similar system, and I was looking. I found so many opportunities, like, you know, taking care of a country home in Bulgaria, you know,
Yeah,
or
stuff like
you
that.
know, this farm in Romania. So you basically you have to take care. You live in the house and you have to feed the dog and the horse.
Exactly.
You know, something like that, and you can stay there for a while. Also, Workaway has a lot of that. Workaway has a lot of these opportunities that they are written and framed as work opportunities, but you are actually house sitting.
Yeah.
You know, but it's fine. You know, like
Yeah.
you go to some place up in the mountains and then you stay there. You know, and then you do just take care of the thing, and having a lot of references, then the doors are open to you.
Yeah, I just signed up, so that's it's hard to get the first few.
Yeah, no, but
you
always
see myself
refer
in the countryside with a dog walking.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
but no matter now what website you are, you can say I don't have references here, but here's the link to my references elsewhere.
I did the Couchsurf
boom,
reference. I had 270 something, so that at least they can see something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So not a problem.
That's the thing. When we started to talk now, like an hour ago or whatnot, with all these traveling things, now with the new technology, like I have the finder for the showers in America. You have the app on your phone, and you drive in front of a McDonald's or a Starbucks, and it's free Wi-Fi. So you look, where is the next shower if you need one, you know? So it's here, and then you put it on your map. You put it in your navigation, and then it guides you to the next shower. And you have this couch surfing, the house sitting, the work away things, and whatnot. So nowadays, you don't have to to work a year or two to save the money. Like what we said, you go to Texas, and of course, if you have the 60,000, you can travel 3 years, 4 years. But if you do things like couch surfing and house sitting and whatnot on top of that.
Yeah.
I know people, they did the house sitting in Hong Kong, and Hong Kong is expensive.
Yeah.
But it's free. And then if you go to the supermarket, because you have a kitchen, you cook yourself.
Yeah.
it's super cheap. Even in Zurich, if you do the house sitting or couch sitting in Zurich, of course, the supermarket is like Norway; it's more expensive, but
Yeah, I have interviewed and done podcasts with people that travel,
mm,
and they do that. They use Workaway, they do house sitting and things like that, and they keep traveling during the entire year with a budget of less than well, much less than $1,000.
It's a few hundred.
Yeah,
a month,
a few hundred
yeah.
a month.
Yeah, you
and,
even have a bottle of wine or beer once in a while or every day.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
super easy. And on the sitting side, there's some opportunities where they want you to be there for 4 months.
yeah,
Yeah, they go away for winter, let's say,
Yeah.
or for summer, and then they need somebody that's there for a long time. And it's not
Yeah.
easy to find somebody.
yeah,
But if you have nothing to do, or if you say,
Yeah.
this winter I'm going to go to Canada,
Yeah.
there is some places,
Yeah.
and then
or you want to do some work that is online, or you want to write your
that is the
book, or
best. Imagine
you
have
go
a
and get
beautiful
isolated.
house, and all of them have Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they cannot be
Yeah.
in the house sitting thing.
Yeah,
How would do
they
it?
know that nobody will want to go there if
Probably,
without
yeah.
Wi-Fi.
At least it says on everything I checked it
Yeah.
was fast Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi,
Yeah,
and also even in England, a lot of the places it's Americans abroad.
uh-huh.
It's lots of British people and American people.
Yeah. No, when you
On-
go to
on the trusted
Romania
house
or
sitter.
Bulgaria,
Yeah.
a lot of the house owners are British,
Yeah,
and when you go to Costa Rica, a lot of the owners are Americans.
American, yeah. but even in these, I mean, imagine it's free, so you just buy the ticket.
Yeah.
You need a ticket, and then it depends where you go. Like America, 3
Yeah.
months, you don't need a visa or whatnot. So
Yeah.
and you just have to explain to the guy in immigration. You don't tell him I go house sitting because maybe
Yes.
he does not know what the fuck is that.
Yeah, he thinks that you're getting a job, and then it's illegal and all that.
Exactly. And when
So-
they see you don't want to work, they're super happy, and then it's okay. One time I brought a few bike parts, and then he asked me if I'm a bike courier, but I'm like, what the hell? Why would I work, man? I'm on vacation,
Yeah.
Shit, it was just funny. But these are things nowadays you can do with the help of technology.
Yeah.
It's becoming way easier, and also to like with couch surfing, you go to the meetings, or with Facebook with the barbecue where we go later,
Yeah.
and you meet different people. And like last night, the guy that offered you, if you can be the deckhand.
By the
on my
way,
yacht,
yesterday I got invited to travel for as long as I want on a sailboat. Not a bad idea.
in Thailand, going
Starting from Thailand,
going
of all
around
places.
Asia. Yeah. So
Not bad.
yeah, so you see, because you
Yeah.
meet more people and you have more interaction with people, and then obviously it's like a thing, it's going from one thing to another thing.
Yeah.
And when I stayed in LA last time, in New York, I did couch surfing because all of my friends were out of town in August. So 3.5 weeks wasn't easy, but it was amazing couches. And then in LA, I just asked my friend if I can stay a few days, and she said, "How long you stay?" I say 3.5 weeks. She said, "You can stay at my place in Venice Beach." It's like, what?
Yeah.
I had her little bicycle, and her roommate later gave me his big bicycle. So you're in Venice Beach, a minute away from the beach, and I met her to couch surfing in Athens. So
In 2014, by a coincidence, I was finishing some travel. Oh yeah, I was in Bulgaria, and I was going back to America, and I just do like I usually do. I go to Facebook and I posted, "I'm going to America." Like if anybody, I will stay wherever. I don't care. And a friend said he has a home, a big home in Miami, and he said, "Hey, I'm going to Nicaragua or something like that. El Salvador." He said, "Hey, I'm going for several weeks. Can you take care of my house?" Which means I also can take care of my dog. And he has a lovely, super cool dog that is, one of those dogs that doesn't give you any trouble.
Yeah.
He's just there, quiet, happy. And I said, "Oh, of course." So I had the house, the dog, and the car for like 3-4 weeks.
Perfect.
Then, and by the time that he was coming back, nearly the same week, another friend was going with his wife to California. So they asked me to take care of their house for another week. So I was house sitting in Miami for 5-6 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
You know, in beautiful, amazing places. That's common. You know, it happens to us. So I think we enjoy a great lifestyle.
Of course.
Part of it is possible because of technology, the internet, and the networks that exist today. Part of it is possible because we are flexible enough on our plans, and we are flexible enough with dealing with people. You know, working around around their schedule.
Of course, yeah.
You know, sometimes they can host you this week but not that week, so you change your plans. You know, change your routes. In my case, I also have to be flexible around the weather. You know,
Yeah,
I need to
on the
pay.
bike, yeah.
Yeah, but being open-minded and curious takes us a long way, and I think that you are a great example of that. You know, since I met you, the stories that we keep, you know, exchanging, and the things that you tell are pretty impressive. So I want to thank you for being on the podcast, sharing a little bit of that with the people that are watching. And it's definitely not going to be the only podcast that we do. Next time we meet, maybe in another country, or maybe in another continent, we'll do a follow-up.
Yeah, but this is the Facebook thing. For example, I was in Amsterdam, and a girl I met in New York when I was last time in New York, she was there too. So of course we met for coffee. You know. Now Facebook shows you, look who's in Amsterdam too. Oh, this bridge I know. This is the blah 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 Prinsengracht. You know. So when did she post that? Oh, today.
Yeah.
Hello. You know, you're in Amsterdam. Okay, let's meet tomorrow.
Yeah.
And shit like that. So of course we run into each other again.
Definitely. All right, man. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It was a great podcast. Appreciate that.
All right.
All right.
We hope you like this podcast as much as we like to produce it. This has been made possible by the efforts of dozens of volunteers, supporters, partners, and visionaries that are helping us build Voyager's World. Please visit our website, join us for free, and start participating.